Greenland appears as a unique land where endless icy expanses harmoniously coexist with a rich, distinctive culture. Although geographically this vast territory is located on the North American continent, it holds the status of an autonomous entity within the Kingdom of Denmark. Along with the Faroe Islands, Greenland forms two self-governing areas of Denmark, and the inhabitants of these lands enjoy all the rights inherent to citizens of both Denmark and the European Union. The heart of Greenland, its capital and largest city, is Nuuk. This settlement serves as the focal point of the island's social and cultural life, attracting travelers from all corners of the globe with its unique atmosphere and picturesque views. Greenland stretches between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans, situated east of the Canadian Arctic archipelago. It holds the status of the largest island on the planet, renowned for its magnificent glaciers and breathtaking landscapes. Notably, it is home to the northernmost point of land on Earth, Kaffeklubben Island, off the northern coast, recognized as the most northern undisputed landmass. Greenland captivates the imagination with its natural phenomena and the distinctive culture of the Inuit, who have adapted to the harsh realities of this land for centuries. Here, the frosty ice and the sincere hospitality of the indigenous people create a unique atmosphere that leaves an indelible mark on the memory of everyone fortunate enough to experience it. Despite its geographical location in North America, Greenland's cultural and political ties have linked it with Europe for over a millennium, dating back to 986 AD, when its colonization by Norway and Denmark began. For the past 4,500 years, Greenland has been home to peoples whose ancestors migrated from modern-day Canada and successfully adapted to the extreme conditions of the Arctic region. Around the 10th century, Vikings began to settle the southern regions of Greenland, initiating European colonization. By the 13th century, the Inuit had established themselves on the island, and their descendants inhabit these lands to this day. In the early 17th century, Danish-Norwegian seafarers rediscovered Greenland for Europeans. After the separation of Denmark and Norway in 1814, Greenland remained part of the Danish crown. By 1953, the island was fully integrated into Denmark, and its inhabitants received full Danish citizenship. In 1979, Greenland was granted home rule, and by 2008, the local government had gained even broader powers. Nevertheless, Denmark still maintains control over citizenship, currency policy, and foreign relations, including defense. The vast majority of Greenland's population consists of Inuit, who carefully preserve their distinct culture and rich history. Greenland is truly a unique and striking place. The majority of the population is concentrated along the island's southwest coast, where climatic conditions are considered relatively mild and the living environment more favorable. The remaining vast territories of the island are virtually uninhabited, which is understandable, as 3/4 of Greenland's total area is covered by the planet's only permanent ice sheet. With a population of just 55,840 people, according to 2024 data, Greenland is rightly considered the least populated territory on Earth. Imagine, only a few tens of thousands of inhabitants live across the immense expanses of this giant island, resulting in an extremely low population density. Another remarkable feature of Greenland is that 67% of its electricity is generated from renewable resources, primarily through hydropower. This achievement vividly demonstrates the Greenlandic people's commitment to environmental preservation. History of Greenland discovery. To understand the history of Greenland's discovery and settlement, one must mentally transport oneself back to the era of the great Vikings. It was these early Norse colonists who gave the island the name Greenland. Icelandic sagas recount how the Norwegian Erik the Red was exiled from Iceland along with his father Thorvald, who was accused of murder. Erik, accompanied by his large family and thralls, embarked on a sea voyage to explore an icy land known to exist in the northwest. Upon discovering habitable lands and establishing a settlement there, he named it Grönland, meaning Greenland, hoping that such an appealing name would attract new colonists. They established 3 settlements in the southwestern fjords, known as the Eastern, Western, and Middle settlements. These settlements coexisted peacefully with representatives of the local Dorset and Thule cultures. By 1261, the Greenlanders recognized the sovereignty of Norway and became part of it, and later, in 1380, became part of the united Danish-Norwegian state. The Viking colonies thrived for centuries, but mysteriously declined and disappeared in the 15th century, likely influenced by the Little Ice Age. Archaeological findings indicate that the Vikings faced difficulties due to malnutrition and internal conflicts. Current research hypothesizes that the number of Norse settlers in Greenland steadily declined due to a fall in demand and prices for walrus tusks, which were their main export commodity. Between 1605 and 1607, the Dano-Norwegian monarch, Christian IV, attempted to locate the lost Viking colonies in Greenland, but his expeditions did not yield the desired results due to extremely harsh natural conditions and impassable ice. After the complete disappearance of the Vikings, the island came entirely under the control of the Inuit. In 1721, the Dano-Norwegian missionary Hans Egede founded a new colony in Guthob, now known as Nuuk, the capital of Greenland, thereby opening Greenland to Danish trade relations. For a long time, Greenland remained inaccessible to other nations. The United States of America repeatedly showed interest in acquiring Greenland. As early as 1867, Washington considered buying this enormous island, but the plan was not realized at that time. In 1946, U.S. authorities again made an offer, proposing $100 million to Denmark for the territory, but were decisively rejected. Even in the 21st century, the United States' desire for Greenland's resources has not waned. In 2019, they again voiced the idea of a purchase. This prompted then-Prime Minister Kim Kielsen to publicly state, "Greenland is not for sale and cannot be sold, but Greenland is open for trade and cooperation with other countries, including the United States of America." In 1950, Denmark granted the United States permission to use the strategically important Thule Air Base. This base was subsequently significantly expanded, becoming a key element of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's defense strategy. In the same decade, the 1950s, the United States attempted to construct secret missile facilities directly within Greenland's ice sheet, known as Project Iceworm. However, this ambitious undertaking was unsuccessful. In 1953, Greenland was officially integrated into the Kingdom of Denmark, and its residents received full Danish citizenship. However, Copenhagen's policies of cultural assimilation had serious consequences, leading Greenlanders to face the gradual loss of their indigenous cultural roots. The desire for self-determination gradually gained strength. In 1979, Greenland achieved limited autonomy, and in 1985, it decided to withdraw from the European Economic Community. A significant milestone was 2008, when a national referendum was held, after which Greenlanders convincingly voted for further expansion of their autonomous rights. In 2009, the island was granted full self-governance, allowing it to independently control key areas such as the judiciary, law enforcement, and, most importantly, its own natural resources. Despite these steps toward independence, Denmark still retains control over the island's foreign policy and defense matters, while simultaneously providing substantial annual subsidies. Nevertheless, Greenland is firmly moving toward achieving full independence, actively working to strengthen its unique culture and native language. Tourism in Greenland. From 2015 to 2019, Greenland's tourism industry experienced a notable boom. The number of annual visitors increased from 77,000 to 105,000 people. According to available estimates, in 2019 alone, tourism revenues reached approximately 450 million krona, equivalent to about 67 million United States dollars. However, like many other sectors of the global economy, Greenlandic tourism sharply slowed its growth in 2020 and 2021. The reason was the strict restrictions imposed due to the coronavirus pandemic. One analytical review even called tourism the largest economic victim of the coronavirus. Nevertheless, thanks to a stably developed fishing industry and significant financial subsidies from Copenhagen, by mid-2020, the overall economic situation in Greenland did not suffer excessively severe shocks. Geography and climate of Greenland. Greenland is rightly considered the largest island on the planet that is not a continent. Its vast expanses are predominantly covered by thick layers of ice and snow, but along the coasts, a surprising diversity of flora and fauna thrives. Climatic conditions on the island vary significantly, from a harsh Arctic climate in its northern territories to a milder subarctic climate in the south. The central part of the territory is occupied by the majestic ice sheet, which plays a fundamental role in regulating Earth's global climate. Scientists warn, if this gigantic volume of ice were to melt completely, global sea levels would rise by more than 7 meters, leading to catastrophic consequences. In Nuuk, the capital of Greenland, winters are severely cold. But in the summer months, temperatures become significantly more comfortable for life and recreation. The island's coastal areas amaze with their steep mountain ascents and grandiose glaciers that majestically descend directly into the sea. In the northern part of Greenland lies the unique Peary Land region. Here, the climate is so dry that snow barely forms, and as a result, there is no ice cover. This makes Peary Land one of the very few ice-free territories on the island. In 2003, polar explorer Dennis Schmidt made a remarkable discovery. In the far north of Greenland, he found a very small island, just 35 by 15 meters, which was subsequently recognized as the northernmost point of land on planet Earth. Geology of Greenland. Greenland is a fragment of the ancient Laurentia continent. The predominant part of the island is covered by the mighty Greenland Shield, which is rightly considered one of the oldest geological formations on planet Earth. Over billions of years, this shield has undergone complex metamorphic processes, resulting in significant changes to its structure. Greenland's mighty glaciers continue their tireless work, slowly but surely shaping the island's unique landscape, altering its contours, and moving ancient sedimentary rocks. In the eastern and western parts of this land, evidence of a turbulent volcanic past can still be found, preserved remnants of basaltic lavas and magmatic intrusions. East of the capital Nuuk lie the oldest rocks on the entire planet, whose age exceeds 3 billion years. In the southern regions of Greenland are unique geological complexes, rich in rare rocks and valuable minerals, among which nepheline and syenite stand out. Furthermore, Greenland is of great interest to paleontologists. The island abounds in significant finds, especially its eastern part, where remains of ancient carnivorous dinosaurs have been discovered. Biodiversity of Greenland. Greenland's territory includes two main ecoregions, high Arctic and low Arctic tundra. Approximately 700 species of insects inhabit here, which is significantly fewer compared to the fauna of other countries. The coastal waters surrounding Greenland are exceptionally rich in fish and diverse marine life, especially in the area of the West Greenland Current. Most of the local fauna is closely associated with the sea, including numerous colonies of seabirds. On land, characteristic Arctic mammals, such as the majestic polar bear, elegant reindeer, nimble Arctic fox, Arctic hare, mighty musk ox, miniature Greenland lemming, agile stoat, and the rare Melville Island wolf reside. Notably, some of these species are found exclusively in East Greenland. Seals and whales are regularly observed along the entire coast. Greenland is part of the Arctic province, which is typically dominated by meadows and various shrubs. Among the main woody plants found here are the European white birch, several species of willow, rowan, and juniper. The flora of Greenland includes about 500 species of flowering plants, ferns, and mosses. In addition, approximately 950 species of lichens and 600 to 700 species of fungi grow here. Interestingly, some plants, such as cow vetch, were introduced to the island by the ancient Vikings. The Inuit later brought the Greenland dog. European settlers augmented the local fauna by introducing sheep, goats, cattle, horses, and chickens. The coastal waters of Greenland are home to numerous seals and whales, including majestic marine giants such as the beluga, blue whale, fin whale, and humpback whale. The marine expanses around Greenland serve as a home for 269 species of fish, almost all of which are marine inhabitants. Fishing is one of the key and vital industries in this region. Greenland is also a haven for many marine and terrestrial birds. One can find eiders, ducks, and geese here. Among the resident feathered inhabitants are the Arctic redpoll, rock ptarmigan, great gray owl, snowy owl, as well as the majestic gerfalcon and white-tailed eagle. Economy of Greenland. Although Greenland's economic well-being is deeply rooted in fishing, its subsoil is also generously endowed with mineral resources such as rubies, iron, uranium, nickel, and copper. Ruby mining began in 2007. In 2021, Greenland decided to ban new oil and gas exploration, guided by environmental safety considerations. Most electricity is generated at power plants running on oil and diesel fuel. However, there is active construction of hydroelectric power plants, one of which is the Buxefjord plant. Plans also include the construction of an aluminum plant that will utilize hydropower for its needs. It is expected that a significant portion of the workforce for this project will be recruited from abroad. State-owned enterprises and municipalities play a central role in the country's economic life. Approximately half of government revenues come in the form of grants from the Danish government. After an economic downturn experienced in the early 1990s, Greenland's economy began to show signs of recovery from 1993, made possible by strict fiscal policies implemented by the government. In 2017, new ruby deposits were discovered, which should contribute to the further development of the jewelry industry. Transportation in Greenland. Air travel provides connections between cities in Greenland, as well as with other countries. Regular boat services also exist, but due to significant distances, they are infrequent and time-consuming. There are virtually no roads between cities, which is due to the abundance of fjords hindering their construction. The only exception is a 4.8-kilometer gravel road connecting Kangerlussuaq with the abandoned Evitut. The country has no passenger railways, and the development of rural roads is extremely limited. Currently, a dirt road is under construction between Kangerlussuaq and Sisimiut, intended for off-road vehicles, bicycles, and hiking. Completion is scheduled for 2024, with prospects for its expansion into a 2-lane gravel road. Nuuk Airport serves as the main hub for international and domestic flights. The national airline, Air Greenland, is the flagship carrier, and Icelandair provides year-round services. In total, Greenland has 14 civilian airports and 47 heliports, most of which are unpaved and located in rural areas. Narsarsuaq Airport has the longest runway and offers limited international service. Passenger transport is carried out by several coastal ferries. The Arctic Umiaq line operates one round trip per week, with each leg lasting 80 hours. Freight transport is handled by Royal Arctic Line throughout Greenland, as well as between Greenland, Europe, and North America, helping to maintain trade and transport links. Population of Greenland. In 2021, Greenland's population was 56,421 people, of whom 18,800 resided in the capital, Nuuk. Most of the population lives along the fjords in the southwest of the island, where the climate is milder, although many residents also inhabit colder coastal areas north of the 64th parallel north latitude. The warmest places, such as the area around Narsaq, are, conversely, sparsely populated. The majority of residents are Lutheran. Historically, the Moravian Brethren, a religious community founded in Christiansfeld in southern Jutland with partial German origins, played an important role. By origin, Greenland's population is almost 90% multi-ethnic European Inuit, about 8% Danish, and 2% from other peoples. Genetic studies conducted in 2015 showed that modern Inuit of Greenland are direct descendants of the first Thule culture Inuit, who arrived in the 13th century, with the addition of approximately 25% European genes from colonists starting in the 16th century. No evidence of Viking predecessors was found. Languages of Greenland. Since 2009, the official language of Greenland has been Greenlandic, spoken by about 50,000 people. Most of the population also speaks Danish, and West Greenlandic is the most prevalent dialect. Both languages have been used in public affairs since the establishment of Home Rule in 1979. In practice, Danish is widely used in administration, academia, and skilled professions. The literacy rate in Greenland is 100%. West Greenland is the most densely populated area and effectively serves as the center of the Greenlandic language. About 3,000 people speak East Greenlandic, known as Tunumiitsok, and almost 1,000 people in the north, in Qaanaaq, speak Inuktun, which is closer to the Inuit languages of Canada than to other Greenlandic dialects. Education in Greenland. Greenland's education system is modeled after the Danish system, encompassing 10 years of compulsory primary education and secondary school, where students can acquire vocational skills or prepare for university admission. Greenland has only one university, the University of Greenland, located in Nuuk. Many Greenlanders also pursue higher education in institutions in Denmark and other countries. Higher education offers specializations such as journalism, pedagogy, social work, and various medical fields. Greenlandic students have the right to continue their studies in Denmark on par with Danish students, receiving scholarships. Social issues in Greenland. Greenland faces a number of acute social challenges. According to the census conducted in 2010, Greenland demonstrated the highest suicide rate in the world. Another serious social problem is alcoholism, which thrives despite high prices for alcoholic beverages. Added to this list is the unemployment rate. Although relatively low at about 7%, it remains one of the key issues. Culture of Greenland. Greenland's culture represents a unique fusion of Inuit traditions and Scandinavian elements. Inuit culture has a deep history rooted in millennia. The Inuit are known for their tupilaq figures, spiritual objects, masterfully carved from sperm whale ivory. Such traditional practices particularly flourish in the Ammassalik region. Greenland boasts a small but dynamically developing music scene. Popular bands and artists represent rock, hip-hop, and folk genres. Singer and composer Simon Ling became the first Greenlandic musician whose albums were released in the United Kingdom. He also performed at the famous Glastonbury Festival. Traditional Inuit music often involves singing and drumming. The drum consists of a round frame covered with a membrane made from a walrus or polar bear bladder or stomach. The drum is beaten with a stick, producing simple melodies. Drum dances served two purposes: to dispel fears during long winter nights and to resolve conflicts. People would gather, beat the drum, and sing, aiming to mock each other. The audience's laughter determined the winner. The drum was also used by shamans for ritual purposes. With the arrival of missionaries in the 18th century, drum dances were forbidden as pagan and replaced by polyphonic performances of secular and church hymns. Church hymns often have German origins, explained by the influence of the Moravian Brethren. Scandinavian, German, and Scottish whalers brought the violin, accordion, and polka to Greenland, which is now performed with intricate movements. Sports in Greenland. Various sports are actively developed in Greenland. Football, soccer, athletics, handball, and skiing are the most popular. Handball is often called the national sport, and the men's national team was among the top 20 teams in the world in 2001. Greenland offers excellent opportunities for fishing, ice climbing, and rock climbing, although mountain hiking and trekking remain the preferred activities for most of the population. Despite less than ideal conditions for golf, Nuuk has a golf course. Cuisine of Greenland. Greenland's national dish is a soup made from seal meat. Marine mammal meat, game, poultry, and fish play a significant role in the Greenlandic diet. Due to the glacial landscape, most ingredients come from the ocean. Spices are rarely used, primarily salt and pepper. An interesting element of Greenlandic cuisine is Greenlandic coffee. It is set on fire before serving and is made with coffee, whiskey, two types of liqueurs, and whipped cream. This drink is significantly stronger than the familiar Irish dessert coffee. Media in Greenland. Greenland operates a public broadcasting company, KNR. It is an associate member of Eurovision and the Nordvision network. The company employs about 100 people, making it one of the largest in Greenland. In the capital, Nuuk, there is also a radio station and television channel called Nuuk Media, founded on August 1, 2002. Nuuk Media reaches over 4,000 households, which constitutes approximately 75% of all households in the capital. Only one newspaper is published in Greenland. Sermitsiaq is released weekly on Fridays, and its online version is updated several times a day. The newspaper is named after Mount Sermitsiaq, located about 15 kilometers northeast of Nuuk. There was also a second newspaper, Atua Gagliutit, but it appears to have been absorbed by Sermitsiaq, as all references now lead to the latter. Art in Greenland. The Inuit possess their own unique traditions in art and crafts. For example, they create tupilak, sculptures depicting vengeful monster figures rooted in shamanistic traditions. The word tupilak means the soul or spirit of a deceased person and describes an artistic figure, usually no more than 20 centimeters in height, carved primarily from walrus ivory and characterized by diverse, unusual forms. This sculpture represents a mythical or spiritual being, but it often becomes merely a collectible item due to its grotesque appearance to Western viewers. Conclusion. Greenland is an amazing land with a rich culture and history, where Inuit and Scandinavian traditions are closely intertwined. It is a place that captivates with its natural resources and beauty, but simultaneously faces serious social challenges. Despite all difficulties, Greenland maintains its unique identity and actively strives for further development.